Imagine a breaking news alert across Asia. Singapore has stopped importing water from Malaysia, effective immediately. Shock. Confusion. Tension. This wouldn't be a small story, this would be a regional earthquake. For more than 60 years, Singapore has depended partly on Malaysia for water under the famous 1962 Water Agreement, a deal that ends in 2061. But what if in 2025, the flow suddenly stops? Whether by political decision, environmental crisis, or mutual agreement, the impact would be massive. This scenario takes us into a world of diplomacy, economics, technology, and national security, all revolving around one essential resource: water. The history of water between Malaysia and Singapore. To understand the shock, we must go back to the beginning. The 1962 Water Agreement allowed Singapore to draw raw water from Johor at a very low price, while Singapore sold treated water back to Malaysia at affordable rates. This was designed during a time when Singapore lacked land and natural resources. But over the decades, Singapore transformed itself into a global leader in water technology, developing desalination, NEWater, and massive reservoir systems. Still, imported water remains a part of Singapore's water strategy. Stopping it suddenly would be a historic break, something that has never happened before. Singapore's immediate response: activate emergency water mode. If Malaysia's supply stops, Singapore immediately switches into high alert mode. Singapore's water system is built on 4 national taps. Number 1. Local catchment water. Reservoirs that collect rainwater from 2/3 of Singapore's land. Number 2. Imported water. This drops to zero instantly, the biggest shock to the system. Number 3. NEWater. Recycled, ultra-pure water used for industries and drinking in emergencies. Number 4. Desalination. Turning seawater into fresh water, expensive but reliable. Singapore would instantly boost production from NEWater and desalination plants. While Singapore won't run out of water, the cost of producing water will rise significantly. Would Singapore face a water shortage? Here's the surprising truth: no, not immediately. Singapore has spent decades preparing for the possibility of losing imported water. Like NEWater can meet up to 40% of demand. Small blue diamond desalination can cover another 30% or more. Small blue diamond reservoirs add extra backup capacity. However, the pressure would be intense. Desalination plants run almost 24/7. Water tariffs may increase. Industries would face restrictions. The government would launch strong water-saving campaigns. Singapore would survive, but at a higher financial and environmental cost. How Malaysia would feel the impact. Most people think only Singapore would suffer, but Malaysia would face its own challenges. Like Number 1. Johor loses treated water supply. Singapore sells treated water to Johor at subsidized rates. Without this, Johor must rely more on its own treatment plants, already struggling during drought seasons. Number 2. Political reaction in Malaysia. Water has always been an emotional topic in Malaysian politics. A sudden stop would lead to debates about sovereignty, fairness, and economic strategy. Number 3. Financial loss. Malaysia earns from selling water to Singapore. Stopping the supply means losing millions annually. Number 4. Environmental effects. Johor River may benefit from reduced water extraction, temporarily improving river health. So yes, Malaysia would feel the shock too. Economic impact on Singapore. Stopping water imports has major economic ripple effects. Like higher production costs. Desalination is 3 to 5 times more expensive than imported water. And second one is industrial restrictions. Electronics, chip manufacturing, and pharmaceutical industries need massive amounts of ultra-pure water. Singapore may impose usage controls and higher household bills. Water bills will rise as operating costs increase. And last effects are in higher energy demand. Desalination requires huge electricity consumption, increasing the strain on Singapore's energy supply and carbon footprint. The economy stays stable, but under pressure. Regional and global impact. The international community would watch closely like ASEAN diplomacy might be tested. Investors would monitor potential economic ripple effects. Other countries could study Singapore's self-sufficiency model. Water security would emerge as a critical strategic issue in Southeast Asia. Singapore and Malaysia would set an example in managing critical water resources diplomatically and technologically. Scenarios of why water imports stop. Number 1. Singapore voluntarily ends imports. Malaysia might feel insulted, but both nations would likely negotiate a new framework. Number 2. Malaysia stops supplying water. Singapore would activate emergency plans, while Malaysia faces political scrutiny. Number 3. Mutual agreement to end imports. Both countries could move toward total water independence, creating a new era of sustainable water management. No matter the scenario, adaptation is key. Long-term effect on Malaysia. Malaysia could also see benefits. Number 1. Greater control over its water resources. Number 2. Opportunity to modernize water infrastructure. Number 3. Potentially more revenue from local water management. Number 4. Long-term ecological benefits for rivers and reservoirs. However, in the short term, Johor would need to invest in treatment facilities and manage public demand carefully. Long-term effect on Singapore. Singapore would become more independent and resilient in the long term. Investment in desalination and recycling technologies would increase. National water security would improve. Less political dependence on Malaysia. Greater capacity to handle droughts or future crises. Short-term costs would be high, but long-term sustainability would improve. A new era of water independence. If Singapore stopped importing water from Malaysia in 2025. Short-term, high costs, increased energy usage, potential political tension, industrial adjustments. Long-term, Singapore becomes self-reliant, Malaysia gains control over its resources, and both countries emerge stronger. Water is more than a commodity. It is security, diplomacy, and survival. This hypothetical scenario proves that with preparation, technology, and cooperation, even critical dependencies can be managed, and a new era of water independence can begin.